Wow, now it's very bright. No, that might be
Yeah.
that must be a very big light.
It is.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I don't want you guys to be blindsided. There you go.
Yeah.
That's better.
All right.
There
All
you go.
right.
Here.
Welcome. We have Laura and Brett. No?
Martin.
Martin
It-
and Laura.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry about that. Hey, just to fill the screen, I'm sorry, but I mean, I think you guys can't even get closer together. I know the screen. Perfect. Just want to see both your faces.
Okay.
So just real quick, I said in the email and also on social, it goes for about 40 to 50 minutes, and the session is also I'm going to make it a series on my podcast, and then and also for YouTube, just to help people, because the stuff that we go through, I think, is universal. So this is the verbal consent. You guys cool with that? And
Absolutely.
yeah, so let's start wherever you want to start.
Well, we've been together for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 kids together. I have one from a previous relationship. So
Okay.
2 together. They're grown now.
Mm-hmm.
So our youngest just turned 18. She's off to college at the end of the month, and
Wow.
Yeah.
we're finding ourselves empty nesters at 40.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
young, actually. That's really
Yeah.
young.
Yeah. I had my first when I was 16.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And we met when I was 18. And by 21, we had
Wow.
all 3. We were living in a little apartment, and
Yeah.
life was crazy.
Yeah, I could imagine. This is kind of the story that our parents have, right? Getting married or just running toward the picket fence very young, having more than one child, and the struggle of that, and then becoming empty nesters. The kids leave, and then we look at each other and we're like, "Who are you?"
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. Well,
So
and
what's happening now that the kids are gone? What's happening with the relationship and you guys? What's coming up?
I feel like we've had a lot of time to find ourselves in
Mm-hmm.
in the past few years, just by spending a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time, especially with COVID and everything being kind of closed down. It gave us more of time to really connect with each other, I suppose. And
Mm-hmm.
then a whole bunch of stuff came to light that was from our 20 years together. I mean, it's like it's supposed to be kind of a lot of stuff happening, but you know,
Well, you
yeah,
said a whole
a
bunch of
lot
stuff came to light. So tell me what some of that stuff is.
just with like some just the way that things were between us, and then with um, betrayals and
Mm-hmm.
just trauma overall, and just like I think it was a mix of everything that just we had to shine a light on and try and figure it out for ourselves, I guess.
Yeah. So let's tighten the vice a little bit. You're being a little bit vague. Laura, can you describe the betrayals, describe the history and all the stuff that's
well,
surfacing?
I'm gonna speak from my side of things.
Yes.
I was I've been unfaithful
Mm-hmm.
on more than one occasion.
Mm-hmm. Tell me
Dating
about that
back.
real quick. Tell me how old you were and what just describe.
Gosh.
Paint me a picture.
Okay. Well, I was young. My oldest was graduating grade 6. I was in my mid-20s at work.
Mm-hmm.
Just made manager, promoted. Really just like feeling myself, really enjoying my job.
Yeah.
And kind of fading out of the home, seeing that my family didn't really need me. They didn't really miss me. The house was kind of falling apart, but whatever. I wasn't there, so it didn't really matter to me at that point. I was really enjoying my life at that point.
Yeah. And when you say home, you're talking about your home. You're not talking about like you living with parents.
Oh
You're
no,
talking about
living with
the
my
home of you guys, the home that you
our
guys built.
our
Right,
home
right, right.
together with our
Got it, got it.
children. Yeah.
Yep.
We were married already at this point for 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Okay.
long story short, I got involved with a coworker, and that lasted for a couple months. He found out, he confronted me about it. I fessed up, I was honest, and I told him about it, and he forgave me, and it was like, we're going to work through this. And I just felt so lucky, and I didn't know what I had done to deserve this guy, because I grew up in a really messy home. I was never treated with this kind of compassion or understanding. And
how did that I don't know why I called you Brett. What was your name again? I'm sorry.
Martin.
So Martin, you said you forgave her. Is there still residue from that? How did you work through the infidelity, and how did that impact you?
Well, the thing is, I had my own stuff going on too.
And what was that? You got to be specific.
I also was unfaithful at some point in time, but I didn't tell her, and that was years prior.
Oh, before,
And
right?
Yeah. So I suppose that me being so forgiving had to do with having my own secret, and just not wanting to make too many waves, right? And not to be found out at the time.
Wait, when you found out that Laura was unfaithful, did you then come out with your secret, or did you keep that secret because you felt whether it was karma or guilt? Oh, you kept it, right? So she didn't know yet.
Right. I kept it for another time, and then I cheated again. For some reason I just that, I guess it's
okay.
But we do, I suppose. I didn't really knew at the time how to explain it to myself, and I was not as aware of my feelings, I suppose, and behavior.
And then after the second time, then did you come clean to her about everything, or what was the conversation like? How did that?
No,
how was that exposed?
It didn't. It took years, actually. All that ordeal happened in 2012, and that came out in 2 years ago. So yeah, it was a long time of secrecy and holding information and just making shit up, I guess. Trying to cover my ass. And
yeah. So where are we now? So you cheated a couple times. She was unfaithful. This is when you guys were younger. It's been a long time. Now the kids are gone. Where are you guys at now?
Well, since that time too, I also I had 2 more infidelities on my part. That I hid from him as well.
So, and same people or different people?
I had 3 different people. He was the same person both times.
Right.
Yeah. He actually. Oh.
Yeah. You can say
he left his girlfriend at the time for me, and
typical man. He just went back, I guess.
I'm not at the time. I wanted the competition. And now I've been faced with the competition again, and I don't feel like a winner anymore. After the 20 years.
What do you mean faced with a competition? Is that person back?
Well, just with finding out about these infidelities, it comes really recently to me. His first infidelity was back in 2007, and I'm finding out about this a year ago.
Yeah.
Exactly a year ago
yesterday.
This week. Yeah. So I'm at the point now where I don't trust him. I feel disrespected. We had a huge talk 2 years ago where we both cleaned our slates. We put everything out on the table. We had a big fight. It was huge. It was crazy. We got it all out, and that was that. And then a year later, he comes out with more stuff, and I was just I was floored. This is impossible. Um,
Yeah.
so now it's been a year, and I'm like, okay, I'm over the cheating. I'm over the mistakes. We were young. We were stupid. We can get over that. I want to see changed action now. I want to
Sure.
see changed behavior. I want to see you as a trustworthy man who's going to be transparent. I want, yeah, and he's been really wonderful for a lot of those things. Um,
Yeah.
Martin, what do you? Well, first of
Yeah.
all, I don't think you guys were stupid. You guys were young and you guys were human, and you know, you guys got together and had children at such a young age.
yeah,
I'm not saying that it's okay to cheat. I'm just saying that
no,
we're human, and there's you know, we get involved in marriages very fast, and we're forced to grow up because we're taking care of children. We
yeah,
disconnect with ourselves. We can feel undesired, lonely, all this stuff, right? So all of that happened, and now do both of you guys want this? Or are you guys on the fence? Are you guys unsure? You said so with you, Laura. You don't trust him, so the trust obviously has been broken. Martin, do you want this, or are you also kind of going through processing if this is for you? Are you unsure?
Um, this is it's a tricky situation. Like I do want a relationship with her because she's important to me, and I know that I've managed to really not make her feel appreciated on my end of
Right.
things. You know, like when it comes to our relationship, I've been it's my thing lately. I've been saying I'm trying, and it's to some extent it doesn't feel like I am really. Am I on the fence of things? I mean, if this keeps going like this, it's not. It's not sustainable to keep going like this.
What's
If it
the
comes to,
dynamic? Wait, real quick. When you say like this, what's happening? Because you said you're trying. Obviously, you know, the stove is still hot for her. So what's the day to day look like? Is it are you guys intimate? Is there a lot of
oh
disconnect? Is there fighting?
no,
Well,
we have separate bedrooms.
okay.
We're in separate bedrooms. We wake up together in the morning. We usually have coffee. We usually have an argument. He leaves for work, and I'm pissed off. And
Yeah.
some days I'll text him like crazy because I'm the anxious, and my nervous system is just going. And then other days I just won't text him at all. Like I don't need him. I'm fine. So it's a really, I'm hot and cold these days.
Yeah.
Trying to just not make it worse. You know, I'm
What do you
really trying to
need?
own my own childhood stuff
Sure.
that's getting in the
Sure.
way.
What do you need to start trusting again? What do you need from Martin if you want to continue this marriage or rebuild?
I
What do you
need
need from
his
him?
actions to match his words. When he
Okay.
says, I'll be there, be there. When you say, you know, like it's just show me respect in those ways that I'm not going to have to call and say, where are you? What's going on? You
So
know,
has he been inconsistent lately?
yes,
Has in
he's
what
been
way?
consistently inconsistent.
In what way? Give me some examples.
Well, for example, the other day, for the 1 year anniversary of the day that he told me, like the 1 year ago, he had texted it to me. And I was like, this is the most disrespectful thing you could have possibly done. You need to redo this.
Yeah.
I need to relive this experience with you so that I can like you're not this bad guy to me who can't face his stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, I need you to be there at the exact same time that you texted me this, and I need you to be talking to me. We need to
Right.
we need to redo this. And he was late. And he had the excuses, and I was just like, no, I don't want to even argue anymore.
Yeah, I can see you're tired. Martin, what are your thoughts on this? So you texted her about the infidelity, obviously, because you didn't want to talk about it. What's going on with the inconsistency?
Well, I mean, I did text her. because I didn't know how to say it, or
Yeah.
to like come up with the right words, I guess, and it was just
Mm-hmm.
easier. It's like a little coward thing to do.
Yeah.
I admit it's
Mhm.
you're not facing your shit
Sure.
like head on, but yeah, there's a lot of scary stuff in that, and I've never really had the opportunity uh, to deal with the scary stuff on my own, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
even
Wait.
growing up,
What's the scary stuff? Tell me about the scary stuff.
I just being like rejected, I suppose, or
Sure.
because it's happened to me in previous relationships too. All my
Yeah.
well, pretty
All of
much
your serious
all my
relationships.
serious relationships, starting from when I was a teenager, I've been cheated on.
Mm.
So and it felt like it was a rejection, a big time rejection on me. And as men, if you want to say it like that, it's a really tough thing to endure over and
Mm-hmm.
over again. And
Mm-hmm.
this time around, it was just really, really scary, and I couldn't bring myself up to told her face to face. I guess it was just easier. I had to let it out in some ways, but the output was not or the outlet was not the right one, I suppose. Yeah.
Tell me about your inconsistency these days. So, you're going to say you're going to be somewhere and you're not, or what's happening? How come you're not able to be consistent?
Well, I'm always I'm actually every time I say I'm somewhere, I'm either at work or I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two things. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a social life. I don't have any more friends.
Mm.
It's a
Why?
very
Why?
I don't. I had a whole bunch of friends in my teenage years, but
Mm-hmm.
over the years, you have kids and you drop a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of them,
Sure.
and
Sure.
then you outgrow some of them, and you realize that more. Your wife makes you realize that some of your friends are not particularly good people for you, right? And
Mm.
once you do realize it, then you tend to just drop the people as you go, and I guess that's what happened. I have my brother I'm close to, but that's about it. Yeah.
Laura,
And
what
the
about you? Do
inconsistent.
do you have friends and hobbies and stuff, or what does your life look like?
No, I've completely isolated myself over
Yeah.
the last few years. I've
Yeah.
gone no contact with my family.
Mm.
I've just really been going inward and trying. I've been doing a lot of parts work. I've been trying to just figure myself out.
Lots of trauma growing up.
A lot of trauma
Yeah.
growing up. Yeah, yeah.
Um, Broad strokes. What kind of trauma? Just abuse, I'm assuming.
Um, Pardon me.
What kind of broad strokes? What kind of trauma growing up?
Uh, Addiction,
Mm.
sexual trauma,
Mm-hmm.
um, physical violence,
Mm.
um, just from the moment I was born, my home was
Unsafe.
it was very unsafe, very
Yeah.
very dangerous place for children.
How do you think? In my head, I'm putting a lot of bookmarks that I'm going to get back to. Um,
Mhm.
how do you think that trauma has manifested you in relationships, especially this one as an adult?
Um, well, in the more recent years, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say it's 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 embedded in my system. So there are
Mm.
some things that have come to light that have just it's like reliving the trauma. So
Yeah.
I've actually had moments where I feel like I black out
Mm.
and I become very violent. Like I'm
Mm.
trying to protect myself.
Right. Right.
So
And
I
and you
know
never
that
got any kind of help treatment for the trauma? You never were okay, so that's okay. Um, and then real quick, so Martin, did you also grow up in a dysfunctional container as far as childhood? What was your
Um,
upbringing like?
I think your my upbringing was as common as you could, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the best way to say it. As common as can be, I suppose. I
Yeah.
was nice family. Everything seemed to be in order.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously there's there's the residual stuff from when I was a kid, like given the silent treatment and stuff like that. Like the regular trauma that people go to, I suppose, in regular family. Um, it's
How did
not.
that trauma? I mean, there's no regular trauma. We all interpret trauma. It manifests in us differently.
Yeah.
How did that manifest in you? How do you behave in relationships because of that upbringing?
Well, I have my inability to communicate
Mm-hmm.
is it's one of the things that I'm really just starting now to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, it's really hard to find the words and to feel like I'm being listened to, kind of, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a lot of work on that, and she's great at listening. She understands, and she helps me a lot, actually, in terms of just teaching me that it's okay to feel what I'm feeling, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah. So yeah.
Well, both of you. So here's how I would like for you guys to see cheating / infidelity. It's easy to see it as betrayal. Of course, it feels that way. People being dishonest and crack trust. Um, I want you to see it as a way of coping. I want you to see it as the reaction to other things that are happening inside self, right? So both of you guys have had traumatic upbringings. Um, one person, lots of trauma in childhood that hasn't been processed or looked at. So you're feeling probably very unsafe and also re-traumatized, infidelity can be activating that. You being unfaithful can be a response to that. Martin, you not being able to express yourself. This is all going to be new for you to learn how to. I mean, the texting is a good example of that, right? It's really easy for someone to judge you texting that information and, calling you names or you labeling yourself. But I think if you look at it more as not having the tools or the ability to, right? Because we want to, I don't want to minimize infidelity, but it can't be the monster. Do you know what I'm saying? You guys are both human. You guys both have stories like everyone else. And the infidelity was the response or reaction to deregulation, to coping, to numbing, to running, to whatever that is, right? And also, a lot of it happened when you guys were young. When we're young, we have less tools, right? So now you guys are 40. My first question is, do you guys want this? Meaning, are you willing to roll up your sleeves and really work on this? I don't know what resources you have. Like, obviously, I can't in 50 minutes, fix your marriage. This can be a first domino. This can get the conversation going. But working on yourselves, all right, I think has to happen first or simultaneously as you work on your marriage. It's less about the cheating. It's more about you guys building your own lives, right? So a big thing for me is if you guys have no friends and you guys have no kind of like life other than work, and you're just kind of functioning, there's going to be a lot of weight and pressure on the relationship. So you're going to be looking at him, he's going to be looking at you. There's going to be a lot of dependency, a lot of enmeshment, right? And so things that are not big can blow up and become huge because you guys don't have much of a life outside of the marriage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So part of working on yourselves would be to actually start creating your own life. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like that's the journey we're on. I think a little bit
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
past little bit. Like my career is as good as it's gonna get. I mean, I love what I do. I'm a carpenter, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just fun, and I like that. And so whatever else I have to worry about is, like home life and my relationship, and just
What else do you do besides career? What are other areas of, like, what do you spend your days doing besides when you're not working?
Seriously, not much.
Laura, why do you look suspicious?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of YouTube, uh,
Okay, so you're just at home.
but
You're just at home watching YouTube.
just at home a lot of the time. We hike a lot.
Okay.
Actually, we like to go on
Okay.
hikes and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just screw around in the garage,
Okay.
motorcycle, or just
Mm-hmm.
cutting wood, or
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And
just trying to
Laura, what
keep.
about you? So do you work from home, or you go somewhere for work?
I'm home right now. I'm not
Okay.
working.
Oh, you're
Um,
not working. So how do you spend your days?
um, my days are spent journaling, reading. I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of IFS work. I do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
trauma education.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah, that's
really
great.
trying to know myself and why
Sure.
I feel the way I feel, making sense of it, like owning my story. And yeah, just I want it I want to make something out of it for myself. I want it to be something I can stand on,
Yeah.
not feel like I'm stuck under.
What else are you doing as far as career? Are you taking a break?
Um,
What?
I'm right now, actually, I'm just looking for something part time, just
Mm-hmm.
something easy around the house, like something close to home. I don't
Yeah.
really want to get involved too much in anything that's going to take up any of my. I'm focused on myself right now, and I have the
Mm-hmm.
luxury of like being able to do that, but it's not sustainable. So I am going to have to
Slowly
get
start
back to
building.
work. And that scares
Yeah.
me. That scares
Yeah.
me.
And why does that
Yes.
scare you?
Um, because I have a really huge neglect wound
Mm.
that I don't really know how to take care of myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like making appointments for myself. I have a
Yeah.
difficult time doing those things. Like I'm
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
learning to do, but it's so funny because I worked for years as a manager of a company.
Mm.
Like I managed 100 people. Like it wasn't, but I was so shut down to myself at the time.
Yeah.
I breezed through it. I was on autopilot. And now it's like I've
Mm.
resensitized myself.
You know what?
Like,
What's interesting is I wonder if so then when you were doing that, you were in survival mode. So you
oh
said
yeah.
autopilot, right? So
Yeah.
you were surviving, even though you executed because it was life or death. It was a way
Oh
to
yeah.
survive. Now you don't need to survive. And at least for right now, you're saying you're okay. You don't really
Mhm.
need to work. You do eventually. We get that. And so what's going to happen is a lot of reparenting. Now that you are more
Mhm.
calm, now that you're not in survival mode, you are learning how to be an adult. You are learning how
Mhm.
to, manage emotions. You are
Yeah.
also being very activated with the
Yeah.
infidelity, him being inconsistent, all of that stuff. So
Mhm.
what's happening for you is a lot of reparenting. So I don't think you're regressing. I think you're not in a state of survival, which is actually a good thing. And if you're not used to that, especially if your childhood has been nothing but traumatic and fight or flight survival mode, then it's going to feel really uncomfortable for you. You're like relearning how to ride the bike again, or
Yeah.
maybe for the first time,
I,
not relearning.
I said it to my husband today. I said, I feel like I was born into my 20s. Like the things I
Mm,
was exposed to as a toddler were the things that people are exposed to in their 20s, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I
Oh, so
never
you had to
had
grow
my
up fast. You're
20s.
saying you had to grow up. You had to grow up fast. So yeah, basically, right. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you had to disconnect with you, become an adult when you were a kid, just to survive, and now you're an
Mhm.
adult and you can almost like go back to being a kid. Go back to, I mean, not being a kid, but go back to addressing the part of you that was ignored.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
we're implementing more play. We're implementing more like nature outside,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
things that we did when we were kids that made us feel better.
Yeah, it's just a matter of finding a little bit more variety of activities, not always the same stuff. Because I'm a creature
Yeah.
of habit, and I find I find safety in the regular everyday
Mm-hmm.
routine, getting up
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, 2 cups of coffee, and by 6:15 is getting the
Yeah.
car, and so it's going to new places can be challenging sometimes because of just like it's she's on edge, and I tend to be on edge too, just because
Mm.
lots of people a lot of the time, and we're not uh, we're not super
We've
social creatures. We
been
haven't been.
desocialized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. You
Yeah.
guys are on an island now.
Yeah.
It's the the Blue Lagoon.
It was nice when we were both really unhealthy and we didn't know better.
Sure, sure. That was the Blue Lagoon because it was exciting
Yeah.
and sexy. Now it's a different island. It's yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, or I want you to do something, Laura. I want you to turn to Martin and tell him what you need. Tell him what you need these days now, right? So obviously consistency. So I want you to
Mm.
look at him, tell him what you need.
I need you to, I need you to prioritize showing me respect. I need to experience you as a respectful, loving, honest man. I need that. I need to have that experience from you. I need to know that you have changed. I need to see the change. I can't just hear about it anymore. I can't just take you at your word. Your word has meant nothing.
Mm.
I need to see it. And I need
And
you to
Martin, what's your
prioritize.
response to that? Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
I will put more effort in showing you that you are worthy of my respect. Or that sounds weird. I don't want to say it like that, but you are worthy of my respect, and I want you to feel it. I'm gonna put more effort into um, showing up for you in ways that you need more, like
And what does that effort look like, Martin?
texting her good things, and while I'm at
As
work,
opposed to what?
it's just the I have a well, that was the me letting her know that I cheated on her by text. Like I mean,
Oh, you're using that as an example. Okay,
now
got it.
just like
Right,
the
right.
making an effort to really
Be attentive.
be attentive, yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
show that I'm thinking about her, and that I care about how she's doing at any time of the day, kind of, Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
do like it
here.
when
Sorry, go ahead.
I do like it when I know that you're thinking about me during the day.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Martin, I want you to think of something when you are practicing this, when it comes to respect and trying to give her a new experience. You're not doing something for her mind. You are actually, um, the goal is to give her body the experience of feeling safe. So whether we're talking about respect, safety, trust, it's not like a logical thing. You could be like, here's a contract. I'm going to sign this, right? It's not going to mean shit. She wants you to convince her body through experience that she can trust you again. That it is a safe space. So how you do that is on you. I'm not saying it's easy. It depends on your story and what you're able to do and not do. But yeah, of course, seeing effort because she knows you well is going to inject hope, and it's going to make her lean in more. So however you want to do it, I want you to not make it a logical thing, but do your best to ask yourself, what would it look like for me to give her body the experience that she can trust me? So yeah, it might be, texting. It might be being attentive. It might be, buying her flowers, taking her. I mean, I don't know, whatever you come up with, that's on you. But that is the practice for you. If both of you guys don't feel safe in this, it's not gonna, there's
Yeah.
nothing, there's no wings to this,
Yeah, yeah. There is a feeling of that feeling of safety on both ends. I guess it's
Yeah.
really it's been damaged.
Sure.
It's
So,
been
well, I was gonna ask you now. You look at Laura now. Now tell her what you need.
I need you to use kinder words when talking to me. I need you to make me feel safe in my environment, I guess, or in our relationship. And um, I don't really enjoy being yelled at or called names, even though to some extent it's like, like, it's deserved to an extent. But um, yeah, I guess it's a respect thing for me too. I just want a little bit more respect and a little bit more kindness.
Laura, what are your thoughts on that?
You're right. I've been awful with my words. I've done a lot of damage with my words. Yeah, I can do that. I can, if I can at least not make it worse. So I will use kinder words. And when I get angry and when I get activated like that, I will walk away before I will be aware. And I would like you to make me aware if I'm not aware. Please.
Yeah.
I know.
So for the first session, and we're kind of coming to homework, and this is it. This is the homework for the first session. You can't give too much, or people do nothing. So the homework is, and Laura, you tell me, and then Martin, you tell me for this week, what is the homework? So Laura, you go first.
Every day I'm going to try and say something really kind. I'm going to try and intentionally say kind things. You need that. And I need to practice doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost that.
You guys mentioned name calling. It sounds like there's been a lot of character assassination and lots of, it sounds like to me that you're getting heated and of course explosive and all that. So doing your best to monitor that, right? So to be aware when the reaction's coming and see if you can put a speed bump. And if you can't, we know where you're at and what you're struggling with. You also have to be gentle with yourself as well. But noticing, and like you said, okay, I'm going to go take a walk, or I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm flooded right now. I'll be back. I'm not leaving, but I need to go for a walk. Stuff like that can be very helpful, right? Okay.
Yeah. Like my personal homework would be to stay in my body and monitor,
respond instead of react. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And to take a breath and give yourself what you need. It could just be a beat. It could be a walk. It could be like, hey, Martin, I don't need anything, but I need you to hold me. Like whatever you feel that your body needs. You know what I'm saying? But working on that. And then Martin, what are you going to work on this week? It's based on what she says she needs.
Just more attention when it comes to especially during the day. I know that she needs that a lot, and for some reason I don't do it. So I'm gonna really put more effort to doing this because it's important. I want to reverse that. Just show her
the word that comes up for me. I want you to like brand on your on your forehead is consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is what builds trust. She doesn't trust you because you have been consistently inconsistent. So that could mean a lot of things. But this week, can you be more consistent? So if that's your North Star, whatever you're doing, actions lining up with words, or if you could say you're going to be somewhere, or if you say you're going to text, like, that kind of stuff. And I think the little things go far, especially right now.
Right. Yeah, that's the start somewhere, right? It's
can you be consistent?
Yeah. I'm gonna do my best. Yeah.
So let's start with that. That's the homework. When I was talking about you guys, building your own life. I mean, that's not something you do over the weekend. That's a direction that you guys are going to head toward. And I do think having your own friends is important. I think having your own hobbies and passions and all that. And then that's how you start to build your relationship with yourself, right? So I think both of you guys being on that journey is important. And of course, talking about it with each other, doing it together. You know what I'm saying? If not, it's a pressure cooker. If not, you guys have a lot of skeletons in your closet and you guys are on this island and all you guys are doing is just looking at each other, you know?
Yeah, I do a
That's
lot
a
of
lot of
that.
pressure. Yeah. And it's going to amplify a lot of stuff. It's going to amplify anger, resentment, and all of that stuff. So, simply put, kind of getting out of your house and out of your head by building your own life container, you know? So that's the macro. That's not something, I mean, that's what you guys are starting. I mean, obviously, you know, in a week, you're not going to come back and suddenly have, you know, that down. But I think that's the beginning of this. So I'm saying that because it is important. I'm saying that because we're not meant to just sit in a house and love one person. And that's our life. You know what I'm saying? It takes the pressure off our partners when we are building other things like friendships and passions and all that. Yeah. Okay, well, listen, this is session 1, and if we can do it same time, I'll email you guys. Let's do it again next week, and we'll see where you're at with that as far as homework.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, great meeting you.
Awesome.
Great meeting you guys. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty.
Week.
Be well. Yep. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks.
Bye. Okay, so this is the commentary, I guess. You know, a part of this, for me, that's a struggle is, you know, trying to pack as much value as I can in one session. You know, the thing about the internet and what I'm doing here, helping people, I may never see them again. You know, I may only get 50 minutes with them. So a part of it is just creating a safe space and being a quote unquote therapist and processing. But processing, it's a lot of sessions. You know, it could be 100 sessions, right? So you can only do so much in one session. That's why I always give homework. So I'm kind of pulling from half therapist and half relationship coach. I have to be direct. I can't just be completely neutral because I have, you know, 45, 50 minutes and I may never see them again. So I'm trying my best to hold space and also pack a punch, be a catalyst in some way. And I know that sometimes that can't be forced, and that's why all of this is an art, and that's why you can only do what you can do, and hope, you know, and hope for the best, right? I can't control people, sessions, their growth, any of that. I could only show up, be present, and do the best I can to be a catalyst. So. You know, this story really tugs on my heartstrings. I mean, married at 16, you know, kids, both people from traumatic childhoods. And Martin, I think, was minimizing his trauma. I don't think he's aware that just because you weren't sexually abused doesn't mean you're not impacted by trauma or the imprints of trauma, right? Depends on how you absorb it. So, I think he's been through a lot that has crippled self-esteem, self-worth. I think a lot of his infidelity is seeking that worth. You know, a lot of the cheating. I also know that, you know, being in a marriage at I don't know when they got married, but they've been together since teenagers. You know, they're 40 now. So yeah, of course there's going to be drift, you know, and I think what's important is to know that they got involved and in a way because they were parenting in their early 20s already. Their early 20s got stripped from them. So they never experienced dating and one night stands and, you know, getting drunk and all the shit that we are exploring in our 20s. That they skipped. So they just went from being teenagers to marriage to parenting. And I think a lot of the response of that, you know, that kind of piece in your life when you're meant to explore and wake up with people that you don't like and get your heart broken and all of that, there's a natural thirst for that. And I think the cheating, some of it may be due to wanting to quench that thirst, missing out on most of their young adult years. Now, does that make it right? Of course not, but it makes them human. And I think a combination of a lot of things at one time can get people to drift and act out, be unfaithful, numb, hide. But now they're 40, and I applaud their courage to want to rebuild trust again. And we'll see what happens. I gave them some homework. We'll see if they show up next week, and we'll see all the things that come up. I also believe that their situation is compounded by them not having their own lives, so no one to talk to as far as friends. I mean, ideally, of course, you want therapists, you want friends, a lot of people don't have those resources. But if you only have your partner, there's just so much pressure. It's putting two people inside a jacuzzi, and you're trying to cool off, and it's just hot, and people are on top of each other, and there's no space to breathe. It's important that they start to build their own lives, their own passions, their own friends. They go on their own inner journeys. This actually makes each other feel safer, ultimately, and this is going to this distance is going to help with enmeshment, codependency, and all the things that we get heated about that maybe we wouldn't if we didn't just put all the pressure on the marriage and each other. Anyway, I'm losing my voice. Thank you for listening. You could also watch, if you want to see them, in my ugly face. I shouldn't joke like that. Sorry, I didn't mean that. On YouTube, The Angry Therapist. Be well.